This episode is based on a lower class that was the peasants, merchants and craftspeople. The peasants were at the highest of the lower class, and their job was to grow food and catch fish. The peasants were at the highest of the lower class because food was vital for all Japanese society. The reason food was so vital in the Edo period was because most things were paid in rice, not money. Even though they were the highest of the lower class, peasants were still treated badly. The whole lower class, including peasants, were at risk of the samurai because if a samurai felt he was being disrespected, he had permission to kill anyone who did not respect them. The craftspeople were more respected than peasants because they made great swords and other useful equipment that was used all over Japan. Some of the other pieces of equipment that craftspeople made were basic household furniture, tools for the peasants, and houses. The higher class thought the craftspeople were greedy because they wanted gold and money for themselves. The society they lived in was a respectful and religious society, not a greedy one. The craftspeople lived in a separate part of society because the higher class wanted to show their authority. The higher class also kept the craftspeople in a different part of society for their own protection. Without the lower class among them, there would be less robberies and disagreements.
The merchants were at the bottom of the lower class. Their job was to sell goods. They also made money from buying goods from other people and selling them for a higher price. The merchants were in the lowest of the lower class because they did not produce any vital living things such as food or useful living items like craftspeople did. The higher class looked down on the merchants because they thought that they were lying cheats who took people's money. Like the craftspeople, merchants lived in a separate part of society. The merchants were not allowed to mix with any other classes except for business purposes. Merchants were not allowed to wear anything that resembled wealth, even if they did have a lot of money, because the higher class did not think it was their money.
It is obvious that the merchants, craftspeople, and peasants of the lower class were not treated well, but all of Japan relied on them to keep society continuing. Each of their roles were important for all day-to-day life. The higher class would not be anything without the lower class.